There's an article here I'm going to read to you.
All right.
CBS News. ICE releases 64-year-old Iranian mother that agents detained after U.S. bombed Iran. An Iranian mother detained by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers was released this week following an advocacy from Republican House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. It seems that Mr. Scalise, the Republican Majority Leader of the House, has a very different view about advocacy for individuals who've overstayed their visas and are the subject of prior deportation orders. This is in reference to a woman in his district who was detained by ICE as she was gardening in the yard of her New Orleans home. She's lived in the U.S. for 47 years. Her husband of 35 years and her 32-year-old daughter are both U.S. citizens. But after a surge of community support, Scalise, quote, who represents Louisiana's 1st Congressional District, including the New Orleans suburb, told WWL that he's going to push the Department of Homeland Security to give her a fair shake when she applies for asylum again. It's the second time after being denied previously. You disagree with this advocacy?
You know, if he's advocating for her, that's his prerogative, and he is advocating for her
Sounds
to
like
stay.
you don't agree with her. Earlier, I heard you say that. Hold on, Mr.
Stay
Knott.
legally.
Mr.
You are
Knott.
taking one example
Sure.
to mask over millions of people who are here illegally.
And you disagree with it.
And I find that reasonable. I would not
I'm
take that
asking you.
case. I would not take that case.
Yeah,
the leader
yeah.
is perfectly able to.
I hear you.
But you are using
I
this
hope,
to score
Mr.
political
Knott,
points.
Mr.
There
Knott,
are
I hope that
millions
Mr.
of
Scalise-
Americans who have
Mr.
suffered
Knott, Mr. Knott,
because of
it is
illegal
on
immigration.
me.
Stop, Mr. Knott.
Mr. Chairman,
Hang on.
I would ask you to intervene.
I've stepped in.
You
I
could be
just did.
berated by the witness here.
You.
This is Mr.
Stop.
Scalise who's
Mr.
advocating for
Neguse,
this individual,
Mr.
not
Neguse,
me.
Hang on.
Sure.
Everybody calm down for a minute. Let me get
Sure.
control of the room. It has happened on a number of occasions in a number of different committees, but in here, what we like to do, and you were doing it earlier, talk through the chair, don't get into a spat with each other, do the philosophical
Trying to answer
stuff.
the question.
I understand, but then your advocacy, as you are a great advocate, overtook and it got into more of a debate between the two of you, and it's actually Mr. Neguse's time.
I appreciate
Don't
the
worry, I'll give you time to respond later.
Thank you.
But right now, it's Mr. Neguse's
I appreciate the
time.
chairman. I would just simply say that insofar as the gentleman from North Carolina is interested in berating someone for making political points, then perhaps that he should have that conversation with the majority leader of the U.S. House of Representatives of his own political party, because it is that individual who's been advocating for this woman. And by the way, I agree with his advocacy. This is a perfect example of the president's mass deportation policy wreaking havoc in communities across our country, apparently including in Mr. Scalise's community, because it served as the impetus for him to go directly to the Department of Homeland Security and advocating on her behalf. You have a position. You've taken that position. You can defend that position. Clearly, if a similar circumstance arose in your district, as I'm sure has over the course of these last 5 months, you would not be interested in such advocacy. That's your prerogative. Mr. Scalise has a different view. And my simple point is that I don't think a system by which Mr. Scalise is able to advocate and pick and choose which individuals in his community, which constituents who have lived there for decades, raising their families, which ones he will choose to convince Secretary Noem to allow to stay in the United States, that is not a fair or permissible or orderly process for enforcing our immigration laws. You may not be willing to admit that, given that this is involving the Republican Majority Leader, but I certainly am. And I'm happy to give the ranking member an opportunity to expound if he'd like.